You know who's not happy for the couple, it seems? Blake Lively. Blake used Taylor like crazy.
Everyone thought Blake Lively and Taylor Swift had one of the strongest friendships in Hollywood. But now the media is buzzing with talk of cracks in that bond. The problem? Taylor's engagement. The solution, or at least the answer, lies in the details. What was said publicly, what was left unsaid, and what fans noticed in between. If you've ever wondered how envy, timing, and the spotlight can transform even the closest friendship, this investigation is going to reveal it. Stay tuned, because the biggest clues are hidden in plain sight.
They both obviously sent everyone to frenzy when they announced that your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. But the rumor is they're not going to do some big royal wedding. Now, the wedding engagement ring was worth up to $1 million. A lot of people are saying, experts, jewelry experts, which would make sense. You got to give someone like Taylor, who's a billionaire, something pretty snazzy. I mean, look at her watch. Yikes. And wow, I couldn't afford that. They were about to go out to dinner, and he said, let's go out and have a glass of wine. They got out there, and that's when he asked her. It was beautiful. This came in from Travis's dad, who dished a little bit more on the proposal itself. So there it is. It's official now. They've asked the question. And so, yeah, they talk a little bit more. If there was a quote that's not there, but yeah, it's not going to be a royal wedding. They want something more casual, more down to earth. That is their point.
What if a single anonymous tip could set off a Hollywood firestorm? That's exactly how this story began. There was no glossy magazine cover, no official statement, not even a clue from Taylor herself. Instead, whispers spread that someone close to the pop star had hinted at an engagement. Just one post on a lesser-known gossip blog dropped the hint, and even without proof, it was enough to get people talking. Suddenly, a simple rumor had the kind of spark that could ignite a frenzy. The craziest part was that nobody could confirm whether it was true. No photo of a ring, no family member ready to spill, nothing. But gossip blogs thrive on being first, not necessarily being accurate. So they raced to piece together reasons, citing Taylor's appearance at recent events, the timing of her schedule, and even her choice of jewelry. Once the rumor machine started, it barely mattered whether the evidence held up. Readers were already hooked. Here's where things take a turn. Blake Lively wasn't mentioned in that first wave of posts at all. Yet her name got dragged into the conversation almost immediately. Fans began filling the gaps themselves, speculating who in Taylor's circle might not be thrilled about the news. Blake, having one of the most public friendships with Taylor, became the easiest target. She was suddenly linked to a story she had nothing to do with, at least at the start. That's how whispers online spiral out of control. One anonymous comment led to multiple tweets. Those tweets became threads, and threads got picked up by bigger accounts. Within hours, hashtags questioning Taylor's engagement were trending, not because anyone had real proof, but because people were desperate to connect dots. A screenshot from a fan forum showed dozens of users dissecting Taylor's last public outing in real time, arguing whether her smile looked different. That single screenshot was shared across platforms, fueling even more theories. At that point, it became less about Taylor's supposed engagement and more about reactions. Who was happy for her and who wasn't? And in the eyes of many fans, Blake became the person to watch. Suspicion was aimed at her like a spotlight, even though she never said a word. The first sign of real drama wasn't in Taylor's news itself. It was in how quickly people turned their attention to Blake's silence. And that raises the question, why did fans zero in on Blake so quickly?
I am happy for the couple. Good for them. You know who's not happy for the couple, it seems? Blake Lively. Let's get into the latest scoops on what's happening regarding Blake. The biggest sign, Taylor's friendship is over. I mean, this is obvious. I don't know why it's taken Taylor Swift fans to get to this so long, that Taylor clearly is not friends with Blake anymore. And that should say everything. To anybody who's still defending Blake Lively out there, how can you justify all these snubs? Explain it to me. Because Taylor should be defending Blake. And that's what Blake thinks too. But Taylor's not. She's doing everything but supporting Blake. And now she's snubbing her left and right. It should be noted, and I missed this when we reported on the engagement. Taylor waited till the day after Blake Lively's birthday. Can you imagine if it had happened and she had announced it on Blake Lively's birthday? Oh my gosh. Taylor, I do think, was wise and made sure, someone on Taylor's team made sure that it wasn't that, because it would have created so much news about she snubbed it on her birthday. But as Blake was celebrating her birthday, she celebrated, do I have that one? Yeah, here it is. It was quiet time with the family as on her 38th birthday amid the legal battle from exclusive sources at People. She's been having a great summer with Ryan and her 4 kids. She's focusing on her family, and it's been mostly about family time, having a great summer. So it sounds like not a lot of stress and trauma like she keeps claiming in this legal doc. Lively's birthday comes after she's just announced in a new film, which, what are they thinking? The Survivalist, an action rom-com. I'm going to take a bet that that film's not going to do well. Just going to take a bet. I would not have betted on Blake Lively as my leading lady for an action rom-com, but we'll see. We'll see how that works.
Out of all the speculation swirling, one theory didn't just catch on. It exploded. Fans online were quick to build a storyline that Blake Lively wasn't celebrating Taylor's engagement. She was secretly jealous of it. The idea spread fast, and not because there was hard evidence. It caught on because it gave people a juicy angle to dissect. Suddenly, everything about Blake's friendship with Taylor was being re-examined through the lens of envy. The way it happened was almost mechanical. Social media users stitched together old interviews, screenshots from paparazzi shots, and even candid red carpet clips to paint a picture of a friend feeling left out. One thread on Twitter gained traction by suggesting Blake had been eclipsed by Taylor's spotlight, no matter how glamorous her own life looked from the outside. That single thread sparked more, and before long, hashtags tying Blake's name to jealousy were trending globally. The narrative was now so visible that casual internet users who had never looked closely at their friendship were suddenly convinced something was off. One viral tweet in particular added gasoline. It racked up thousands of likes by pointing out how Blake allegedly looked different in the most recent photos with Taylor. A vague claim, but one that fueled endless speculation. That single post spawned responses, memes, and even fan edits, comparing her expressions side by side. The conversation shifted from Taylor's happy news to a debate about whether Blake was truly supportive or hiding her feelings. People were now spending hours combing through tiny body language cues like a glance, a folded arm, or a half smile. Confirmation bias made the theory even stronger. Every old interaction they had on talk shows, every clip fans had saved from award shows, suddenly became reinterpreted as potential proof. If Blake made a sarcastic joke years ago, it was seen as a dig. If she avoided eye contact for a second in an interview, that was labeled evidence. The truth didn't matter anymore. What mattered was how well these fragments gave weight to the jealousy narrative already circulating. But here's the kicker. The psychology behind this is called parasocial drama. Fans don't just watch friendships, they act like participants in them. They project conflict where there might be none because rivalry makes the story more entertaining. And so, the viral spark here wasn't about fact. It was about the allure of jealousy, and once that angle was in play, it burned too brightly to ignore. But with fans convinced, the question became, how long before professional reporters joined the hunt?
But again, she's still getting work. She's celebrating at home. She's living her best life. Apparently, all this smear campaign and retaliation hasn't really affected her, it seems. But anyway, she's been in there chilling, having her birthday plans. She's grateful for Ryan's support over the past year. She's been unwinding, blah, 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 with love and gratitude by many who stood by me. You know, she's just doing the same. So, but what is she really thinking? Let's get to some of these I think, pretty solid rumors. Now, the biggest snub of recent is the report coming in that Taylor has officially removed her from the guest list of her upcoming birthday party. So this is where and Taylor Swift was not welcome to Blake Lively's party, is how Blake's trying to I misread this. I got to be honest. I thought this was Taylor removing Blake from her birthday, but wait, we're supposed to believe that Blake removed Taylor from her birthday party list? What? On what planet would Blake Lively have done that if Taylor had wanted to be there? When someone doesn't want to come to your birthday party, that doesn't mean you removed them from the list. It means you're saving embarrassment and now you're trying to blame them. Taylor's not invited. Oh my God, I read this wrong. So I guess this wasn't proof that Taylor's snubbing. It's proof that Blake is now turned against Taylor. So Taylor fans should be even more mad. Oh my gosh, I read that quickly because I have a lot of links up here, and I didn't. I thought it was the audacity of Blake Lively to say, "I've removed Taylor from my invite list." Sorry, hold it together. Be a journalist, Andy. Taylor has not been invited. A source close to the actor told the outlet. They were once inseparable, but after everything that's gone down, Blake wouldn't take her back now.
Internet drama is one thing, but when journalists start hunting for cracks, the stakes change. What began as nothing more than fan-made theories started to look like something newsworthy once the buzz became too loud to ignore. At first, entertainment outlets kept their distance. They saw the chatter, they saw the trending hashtags, but they dismissed it as fan gossip that would burn out within a day or two. Gossip blogs recycle speculation all the time, and editors know better than to chase every rumor without something more concrete to point to. But the turning point came when Blake posted a cryptic Instagram story. It wasn't dramatic on the surface, nothing that screamed headlines. Just a vague image without context. Some said it looked like a throwback photo, others thought it was meant to be a mood post. But once fans put it side by side with the jealousy theory, it felt like a coded message. Within minutes, screenshots of the story spread across Twitter and TikTok with claims that Blake was subtly shading Taylor. And just like that, the gossip that reporters had ignored suddenly had a visual attached to it. That single story was all it took for media outlets to shift. Headlines began popping up framing the situation as if the friendship was suddenly fragile. Titles like "Crack Show in Taylor and Blake's Bond After Surprise Post" and "Fans Think Blake Subtly Addressed Taylor's Engagement" painted the narrative with authority. Even though no one had spoken directly on the matter, the combination of fan speculation and a conveniently mysterious post gave reporters the perfect excuse to amplify it. The jealousy storyline had gone from whispers in comment sections to front-page gossip with legitimacy. This is something outlets do deliberately. They wait until a rumor has already generated heavy engagement online, then swoop in to frame it as newsworthy by quoting social media posts. It's not about uncovering truth. It's about chasing traffic while the fire is still hot. A tweet with thousands of likes or a viral TikTok becomes their source. Suddenly, mainstream coverage doesn't just echo the conversation, it magnifies it. Every new article sends more curious readers back onto platforms searching for the original clues, feeding the cycle all over again. And here's the payoff. That cryptic post forced journalists to stop dismissing the story. Once they had something visual, it became impossible for them to ignore. The real question now is, which outlet was the first to push it into a full-blown viral explosion?
However, Swift has kept her head down, and Lively saw that as self-protection, but also as a betrayal. The report also mentioned that the actor is avoiding all distractions to focus on the important legal trial next year. She has Ryan, her kids, and the truth on her side. The individual added, she's not wasting time chasing people who weren't there when it mattered. Talking about Swift and Lively's hopeful reunion, another insider noted, that ship has sailed. Blake's closed the door and locked it. Oh my God. I almost don't believe this. I mean, I can from a public standpoint. She wants to put this out there and be all defensive. But this idea she has any choice in the matter, it's just very funny to me. I think it's pretty clear Taylor's the one who shut the door and locked it and then put a bolt, locked it 10 times, maybe put a little alarm system on it, the whole 9 yards. I think it's Taylor's doing, not Blake's. That's just my opinion. Anyway, Lively also didn't congratulate Swift on her engagement. Blake didn't reach out the following engagement announcement and isn't going to. The outlet mentioned how the actor doesn't talk about Taylor at all and isn't thinking about their crippled friendship. Sorry, this is hard to read with a straight face. I'm sure she's not thinking about all the Taylor stuff that's now out of her life, how that's going to affect her kids, Taylor's her godmother, and I'm sure her kids worship Taylor Swift. Why isn't Auntie Taylor coming? I'm sure none of that's affecting Blake at all. Yeah, sure. The actor doesn't talk about Taylor at all. This is something that we would have talked about in the past, like what's going to happen if she was going to be in the wedding. What would that look like? All that. But now it's just silence. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. You see how she's trying to spin this? It is Blake who removed her. My God. Blake Lively is accepting her friendship with Taylor. It's over after the shocking snub. Yeah, when Taylor announced her engagement, the internet erupted with joy. Even Charlie Kloss, who's had interesting relationship with Taylor. It put a public olive branch out with a quiet like. Lively, who was once glued, didn't react at all. Not a message, not a post, nothing. An insider at Daily Mail told she has no interest in reaching out. Blake didn't reach out, following the engagement, and isn't going to. This isn't the time, the source bluntly stated.
Once one outlet breaks a rumor, everyone else follows. And that's exactly what happened here. The very first entertainment blog dared to treat speculation as news, publishing a piece that hinted Blake and Taylor's friendship had hit a rough patch because of the engagement. That was the spark. Within hours, rival outlets scrambled to push out their own versions. They weren't just reporting. They were rephrasing the same unverified claims, almost word for word, just dressed up with slightly different headlines. The effect of this rush was striking. A simple scroll on Google News showed a wall of identical stories. One site claimed Blake was acting distant. Another framed it as "Sources fear tension." And a third just doubled down with the dramatic title, "Taylor's engagement splits her inner circle." To casual readers, this chorus of coverage gave shape to the illusion that the story was solid. If every outlet was running it, then surely it must be true. That's how it looked. You could literally map the speed of it. The first post dropped early in the morning. By lunchtime, rival gossip sites had copied it. And by evening, even larger entertainment names had weighed in. The rumor hopped platforms too. A TikTok roundup mentioning these headlines climbed into millions of views in under a day, while screenshots plastered across Twitter accelerated the cycle even more. In less than 48 hours, a whisper from nowhere had transformed into a narrative backed by seemingly endless coverage. Mainstream outlets added their own layer by leaning on vague phrasing. Familiar language like "sources say," "fans speculate," or "insiders hint" made the rumor sound official. These phrases didn't mean there was truthful information. They were safety nets. It allowed reporters to repeat speculation while keeping their credibility intact. Essentially, they piggybacked on social media, quoting what users had already said and presenting it as legitimate reporting. Algorithms gave the story more oxygen. Trending lists rewarded the surge of clicks, prioritizing headlines with Blake's and Taylor's names side by side. Instagram Explore pages pushed memes dissecting their friendship. On YouTube, commentary videos about Blake's silence hit recommendation feeds faster than original music releases. Algorithms don't sort truth from fiction, they sort engagement, and this drama had endless amounts of it. Within 2 days, something that started as an offhand blog post had snowballed into one of the most talked about friendship scandals online. It didn't matter if Taylor or Blake had never said a word. The story had already escaped into the internet wildfire, and fans were about to take this narrative into their own obsessive investigation.
Let's go to that report because this is where a few more of those came out. Lively has finally accepted the relationship is over, at least for a while. Which source is right? Blake told us, a source told us back in June that Swift had been ghosting Lively's repeated attempts to reach out and even begging to mend what they once had. Now, Lively has given up trying. This I believe more, yes. And now Blake's sources are out there. Yeah, we're done. We've locked the door. What would be the point in reaching out now? It really makes no sense. Lively has bigger fish to fry. Brutally, the actress apparently now doesn't talk about Taylor at all and doesn't find it helpful to think about what could have been. This is something we would have talked about in the past. It's not like we're going to, it's the same quote. Like if she was going to the wedding, all that, but now it's just silence. There's no will she or won't she about Blake being in the wedding because she just won't. She knows that, and I don't think she particularly wants to talk about that. Yeah, that facts. So this idea that she's putting out there on these sites that she's removing her and she's fine with it. Are you buying this stuff? It hasn't been lost in Lively. Her 30th birthday fell on Monday, the day before the big announcement. But that wasn't a concern for Lively, who certainly isn't sitting home obsessing about Taylor getting engaged because she's got her own life to focus on. My God. And notice Reynolds, Blake, nobody said anything. So if Taylor Swift fans were still wondering, oh, whose side should I be on? Clearly, Taylor is not happy with Blake. And that's a huge thing because Taylor is a massively big feminist, icon, supporter of victims, and she has absolutely stood her ground to not support this woman who absolutely used her. Blake used Taylor like crazy. It's shocking to me how many more people are still trying to side with Blake in this and not Taylor. Taylor is right. Taylor also is friends with Sabrina Carpenter, who worked with Justin Baldoni. Sabrina still follows Justin. You're telling me Sabrina and Taylor not supporting Blake doesn't tell you everything? Because it should. Why did Travis Kelce unfollow Ryan Reynolds?
When fans think they've spotted evidence, every detail becomes a clue. That's the environment this rumor created. Suddenly, the internet became a courtroom, and Blake's every move was presented as potential proof. Instead of waiting for any official word, entire online communities got to work like unpaid detectives, searching through years of content for moments that could validate the jealousy storyline. It wasn't about accuracy anymore. It was about building a case that felt convincing enough to share. Old photos resurfaced, red carpet videos were slowed down frame by frame, and interview clips once forgotten were now dissected as though they contained hidden messages. Something as small as where Blake placed her hands during a group photo became a topic of debate. Did she cross her arms because she was uncomfortable? Did she glance away at the wrong moment? These micro-expressions turned into exhibits A through Z in the court of fandom gossip. Screenshots circulated non-stop, each one captioned with speculation and often reshared thousands of times. The hashtags made the search even louder. Labels like #BlakeShade started trending, with users linking every possible example of so-called attitude into one long scrolling feed. Nickname-based theories gave fans catchy ways to spread the narrative, and entire threads existed only to add new evidence daily. Just seeing these tags hitting trending lists made it seem like the drama was bigger than it really was, pulling in people who had no stake in the original rumor, but didn't want to miss the spectacle. One collage in particular captured attention. Fans stitched together images from different red carpet events where Blake and Taylor stood side by side. In one photo, Blake is smiling. In another, she looks more neutral. And in yet another, she appears distracted. Shared together in a side-by-side format, the natural variations were framed as a progression, Blake supposedly shifting from supportive to distant. The collage went viral, not because it proved anything, but because it was easy to share and easy to interpret however viewers wanted. The obsession fed platforms' engagement metrics. Retweets multiplied, comment sections filled with debates, and fan-made TikToks gained hundreds of thousands of views. Analytics charts later showed noticeable spikes in activity the moment these hashtags surged, showing how speculation can directly translate into viral reach. What started as a rumor had transformed into a coordinated hunt for proof, with fans themselves running the investigation. And that leaves the bigger question: what's really at stake in this friendship beyond the clicks? This drama was never really about what Taylor did or what Blake said. It was about the version of the story people wanted to believe. Fans weren't chasing facts. They were chasing a narrative that felt satisfying, even if it wasn't real. That's why every glance, every silence, every Instagram post became evidence. And think about it. If rumors can throw a spotlight on Hollywood's closest friendships, what does that mean for the rest of us? Online gossip doesn't stay online. It shows how public curiosity can reshape private lives, turning friendships into stories for everyone else.